Marisol, are you in here? No. Okay. We are online, so hold on one second. Um, Marisol, are you in here? No. We are online, so okay. Hi guys. So th my name is Vanessa Ciliesar, and I came up with this idea, and Bree is with me today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Bree?
Can everyone hear me? Can you hear me, Vanessa? Okay, awesome. Hi guys, I'm Bree, and if you can't tell, I'm really nervous because I'm not really like talking in front of a crowd type person. So I wrote stuff down on index cards so that I don't trip over myself because I do that a lot. I'm really excited to be a part of organizing a brand new con idea for the TVD universe. I know that it means a lot to all of you guys. It means a lot to us also. As a longtime fan, I know how powerful it is. The stories and characters, sense of community that they all inspire through us and continue, throughout the years after it's already ended. Which is why I'm so excited that we're able to create a space for fans and talent to come together. We're not going to bash past conventions. We're just going to learn from their mistakes and move forward from here. Um, we want to build something that's built with integrity, transparency, mutual respect between like you guys, us, and the talent. And I really am just super excited to see where this project takes all of us.
Thanks so much, Bree. So, again, my name is Vanessa, and I have a lot of years of experience in different industries, as well as event planning and business. So, I have a master's degree in business management. I have my own business. I work at my local women's business center, giving business advice to small business owners. So, my goal with everything that happened for the vendors, because I teach how to become a vendor at a pop-up or at a convention or market. I teach that class. So to see how they really suffered, I don't want anything to happen like that again. And I know that conventions bring so much people together and we really connect and make friends. I personally have never gone to a convention as a guest. I've always been a volunteer to whatever convention is local to me because I really enjoy seeing all the fans so excited. And I have my best friend over here in the corner that I've known since I was 15. She and I have been very close with living close to LA. We're very close with interactions of celebrities, and they're just normal people. So I just want to put that out there. Like,
And they like to be treated as normal people.
yes. But my whole goal is just to focus on Vampire Diaries. I don't want to take on more than I can chew. I know that that's happened for other conventions in the past, but I want us to be a small team. And one of the other things that I really want to share is that we can decide as a group what kind of business this is going to be. It can be a for-profit, obviously not super profitable in the sense of like we're going to make millions of dollars off of people because I don't run that way. It could be a social enterprise, which is like an LLC, but with a social mission, or a nonprofit. The nonprofit is harder to get started, it's more expensive, there's more rules, but a social enterprise is a for profit that runs like a nonprofit. I want to have scholarships. I want to have community events that can allow those that have never been to a convention to go to one. Because when everybody's happy, then
Everybody's happy.
everybody's happy. So if you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand And I would love to get feedback. I just want it to be very positive because we are moving forward.
And to be the one that always interrupts, because I do. I can't help myself.
It's
But
live streaming on YouTube.
I like what you said about that. You said you didn't want to demean anybody just to not have that happen again. I think that was a great comment.
Who wants to go first? You could put it in the chat if you don't want your voice out on YouTube for everybody. I can read the questions. A little bit frazzled because it's the first time I've really live streamed on YouTube. I'm usually the one behind the scenes. So
I can go first.
There you
Um,
go.
I am Stacia. I have a legal background, so I am in a courthouse right now, so I do have to have my camera off right now, just confidentiality. Sorry, guys. Um, but I think that, and not bashing anyone, I think what you said is awesome, and just to make it so that it's caring for everybody. I know how important it is for people to meet people that they look up to and that they've watched for years, and just not to let anybody feel bad about that, and to feel like that they're not worthy to meet somebody, just that can be super disheartening. So I think that it just sounds a lot more heartfelt, and knowing people in that industry also, and they do value our opinions. They do value that when people who go to cons are treated right. So I think it's wonderful. So
thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we actually have a form that we sent to talent to give us feedback. We want things to run smoothly. And one of the things, the way I lead, and I've seen it in the post of like, oh, getting blacklisted and all this other stuff. It's like, but why? Like, if something's not working, there's always room for improvement. Because if there wasn't room for improvement, why are we on iPhone 16? Like, the iPhone was fine before, but now it's grown. So why can't a business also grow? And I am like an open door. You see something, you want to change something, let me know what's not working. The only thing I ask is, yes, tell me the problem, but also bring me a solution. It doesn't have to be the whole solution. It doesn't have to be a good solution. Just help my problem solving, solution focused brain start thinking of how to make it better. I love to work smarter, not harder. My favorite word is free. So,
That is her favorite word.
so I don't want to spend money on things that we can create, that we can do for free. I like cutting cost. Yes, Mackenzie.
As someone who doesn't have like a business or legal background or anything like that, are you able to go more in depth on the differences in those businesses that you were mentioning?
Yes, I actually have a document that I created for my clients in the Women's Business Center because a lot of them were coming for nonprofit, but it's like, okay, you guys need to know that social enterprise is this new thing. And it's really good for me to practice because I'm actually giving a workshop on that in next month. So hold on one
Which
second.
is worth the money.
It's $25 to go to the conference. You get breakfast, lunch, swag bag, and
So
parking.
worth the money.
They're not in California though. Why are we arguing
Well,
on YouTube? Stop.
okay, sorry.
Social.
I'm just my bestie, sorry.
Okay, so I will share my screen just so we can go over it together, because it's just a table. So that way we can all be on the same page.
That is easier.
Yes.
I like that.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the main goal of a nonprofit is to create social and community impact. The main goal of a social enterprise is a mix of mission, money, and make an impact and generate income. For profit, make money, grow wealth. Ownership, the nonprofit, there's no owner. It's controlled by a board of directors. The social enterprise is owner operated, mission driven with flexibility. The LLC is fully owned, total control. Can you pay yourself and family? Because everything that we do is energy. Yes, but justify salaries as fair and mission aligned. Uh, for social enterprise, yes, you're the owner, you decide. For profit, absolutely, you set the pay and structure. So, access to grants and donations. With a nonprofit, yes, eligible for tax deductible donations and foundation grants. Grants, access to grants and donations for social enterprise, maybe some mission-based grants, no tax deductible donations. And then the for business SBA, which is Small Business Administration, that's a federal department, or pitch competitions, but mainly must rely on revenue or loans. So I did get a lot of concerns about the funding for this project. So this is where we would really like use this to decide what we want to do. I have access to pitch competitions, grants. I know a grant writer. I know how to do donations, and foundation grants. The taxes. So no, to be a legal company, we need to have taxes. Nonprofit is exempt from income taxes. Social enterprise must pay regular taxes but can deduct expenses. And then for the LLC, it you pay the income tax. But something also very important to know is that in California, there's an annual $800 tax for an LLC. The startup cost and time for a nonprofit, it's high. So you have to fill out forms, you have to have a board, there's an IRS application, it takes about 3 months. Moderate for a social enterprise, you start an LLC and then define the mission. And then for the LLC, you can be registered with the state or be a sole proprietor. Sole proprietor, the taxes are just like your personal income. Reporting requirements. Nonprofit, they're strict. You have to do annual reports, donor disclosures, board meetings. It's very tedious. With social enterprise, it's like a normal business. Some mission aligned structures report voluntarily, so it's not mandatory. And then reporting requirements for the for profit is just a statement of information annually or biannually, every other year.
Hey, Vanessa.
Yes.
Um, Marisol just messaged me and said that she's been trying to get into the Zoom since 4:51.
Okay. I sent her a text message, and I know she called me, but I don't know how to help her. She might be in the wrong
Meeting.
meeting, because
Do you
uh,
want me to try?
there is a limit of 100, so she shouldn't be. But maybe if you can, if I drop you the YouTube, would you be able to send that to her?
And
Yeah, I'll
that's
send it to her.
Okay, hold
so
on.
Sorry, guys, for interrupting.
no, you're fine, sweetie. And if anybody needs her to dumb it down, because I need her to dumb it down for me, feel free to raise your hand.
Here, I'll put it in the chat. So if anybody else has anybody that wants to be a part of it, it's on YouTube. Profit use. So the profit for the nonprofit must support the mission. Profit used for social enterprise. Profits can be reinvested or used for personal family income. And then for the for-profit, all profits go to the owner or owners. So the public perception of nonprofits, mission first, seen as trustworthy. Public perception for the social enterprise, impact focused, values driven entrepreneur. And then for the LLC, it's a traditional business, profit first. Fundraising events. So for the nonprofit, it's regulated, which means here in California, we need to register with the Attorney General to be on the list of charities in the state. We don't need to do that with an LLC or a social enterprise. So a nonprofit is best fit if we want to apply for grants, run programs, get public donations that are tax deductible for supporters. Social enterprise if you want to blend purpose with profit, pay yourself and grow impact sustainably. Or if you want to sell product services without any mission-based restrictions, that's the for-profit. Any questions? Okay.
She's really trying really hard. You just don't have it.
So Victoria likes social enterprise.
I know you had said that we want to take mistakes and even accomplishes from other or accomplishments from other businesses, convention wise or not. Do you know what other companies have done in the past, what route they have gone, and whether that either helped them in the long run or if it kind of, might have pushed them back a little bit business wise or even mission wise?
Yeah, so I don't remember the first convention that was created in Covington. The owner Joshua passed away, but I do know that I can tap somebody that knew him to learn that information. But I've also volunteered with Creation both in Washington State and in California. So I do see how theirs are run.
She wants us.
I don't have a question. I do know that there was one out of Minneapolis that I helped with some of the contract stuff. They were nonprofit, and I since it would probably be based out of California, there were still it's nonprofit profits are really strict, which nothing wrong with that. I do know that they ran into quite a bit of red tape, and that certain actors, due to those contracts, could not come in because of the nonprofit. I don't know if that would be an issue on your end. For whatever reason, the laws in Minnesota were a little bit different for that one because of the nonprofit. So I don't know if that would even be an issue with you or with what you had just stated, but I guess something to be aware of that it can pop up.
Yeah, no, thanks for that information. Yes, I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So even if you have any questions of what I feel about things, it's nothing that we are going to make a decision on. Like I feel very community oriented where I don't want to be the one to do everything because I have other things. Like this just happened for me on Sunday, but I have a conference next month that I'm planning. I'm writing a book. Like this wasn't planned, so I don't want to take everything on. Bree, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me piggyback off what you just said real quick because I have ADHD and will forget what I was about to say. But yeah, no. So Morgan, the other girl that's helping with this, she's at work right now. She had posted in one of the groups on Facebook, and then Vanessa had posted in another, and then we kind of all just randomly just started talking together. So when we say that it was literally just very recent that we were all like, let's do this. But every single one of us has been working very diligently every single day to try to put all everything that we can into it to make sure that it's gonna be successful and that there's enough interest that it's gonna work out. But for the other thing, I still think that the social enterprise would probably be the safest bet, not just for us, but from a legal standpoint and talent standpoint as well.
I like that. I like what she said.
You've gone to a lot of conventions.
Yeah, yeah, I go. My boyfriend's addicted to all the conventions, so I go a lot.
Horror and
Horror, Monster Palooza, HornCon.
that's on YouTube.
He's like, he said,
Since we were 15 and we're in our 40s now. So very long friendship.
it was just my birthday. So, And I went to a wrestling convention because he took me for my birthday. Um, but the conventions are so great. And like, okay, so Taryn Manning, her personal assistant, um, was pregnant, very, very pregnant. And she said, I can't use her anymore. Like, and Taryn Manning has a reputation for being kind of a B word. So, which she absolutely wasn't. She was the sweetest thing to me in the whole world. And I was crying meeting her, and she said, if you don't start crying, I'm going to kick your ass. So it's just that, like that. And she told her assistant, give me your number or give her, like, what? Okay.
Business card was
Yeah.
exchanged.
Business cards were exchanged. And she said, no, she's leaving me because she got stupid and pregnant. So you're not stupid and pregnant. So you're going to be my new assistant. So it's just when you go and you connect with celebrities, like I've never done this on purpose. All of mine were accidents. All of it was because my boyfriend likes to go to these things. But you end up meeting people and you make connections. And it's like wonderful. Like I don't have words enough.
And to kind of piggyback on what she's saying, I also want to emphasize that we also want to include for the talent that a platform to share their current projects. Like we are there for the Vampire Diaries, but it's been so many years since the Vampire Diaries. Like what else are they working on? What else? So it's kind of like giving them the opportunity to have like free market research on what is going to
What do you want to
resonate,
do?
what they want to do that's going to resonate with the
And
fan.
that's kind of like whenever, Kat Graham comes and does like concerts, or Chase Coleman comes and does concerts. So it's like that whenever they're like, they're obviously for TVD, but they're also like, hey, listen, I have music out, please continue to still support me. And of course, everyone wants to still do that.
Yeah,
I
so
like that.
that's one of the things that we also want to include. And also with the vendors, like I want to make sure that they have insurance. Like I'm hoping that they did because they can like get money back for a breach of contract. So I really want to help.
Yes, Chelsea.
Yeah, same with Chris Lee and Chris. I don't know how to pronounce that last name.
I need to
I'm
pet
not
the
even
dog.
going to attempt to do it wrong.
I have a dog. I need to pet the dog.
Oh,
It's Chris Brochu.
Oh, Broshio.
okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to know. Very good to know. I mean, the only other thing that I really have to say is like, I know that people have been coming to me a lot with like trust issues, especially after everything that just happened. And like, we understand that fully, like completely. Um, we're not here to price gouge you or take your money or get greedy and try to get bigger and run. We want this just as much as you guys do. Um, so, I mean, obviously, concerns are valid, and that's why we want to have full transparency and give everybody, a chance to speak whatever concerns that they have. Or I know that you said something earlier about I just lost my train of thought and told you ADHD. uh, I don't remember where I was going with that. Anyway, the point is we want to have transparency, and we want everyone to voice their concerns. We're not gonna like blacklist people. We're not gonna tell you that you're not allowed to come just because you had an issue and it wasn't like you didn't feel like it was resolved or anything to that effect. Like we want to hear those things so that we can improve and be better, because it's essentially like for you guys. And like she said, we have the talent forums because we want to know those things from them too. We want to know what makes them comfortable or things that have happened that made them uncomfortable so we can avoid those things.
Yes, very much so. Aaron, go ahead. Oh, you're muted. Hold on. There you
Oh,
go.
okay. There, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback off some of that. So I was the one who submitted, I help run a nonprofit. So going back to that, I agree that I don't know that a nonprofit would be the best way to go, because it is a lot. Um, and I also think whoever the group is that would be putting this on per se, I think that you have to pay them. I'm not speaking for me. I'm just saying in general because it's so much time and you know, time, everybody here, their time is money, right? I mean, not to sound greedy, but that's just kind of the reality of it. If you're taken away from your
Yeah.
time where you could be doing other things or whatever, because stuff like this starts to go into your work schedule, starts to, you know, because you're having to go see the play. Like, say we did a convention, we all combined did a convention in Covington. There are people who are going to have to go out to Covington to map out, to talk to people, you know, the whole bit. So I think that you could run it similarly with on nonprofits. You have a board of directors and you kind of have a board within the, I don't know much about the other two options, but they definitely seemed probably better fits. But you still have your group and then you run it almost like a nonprofit where everybo's agreeing. Not everybody's always going to agree on everything. It's just not going to happen. But you throw out ideas and everybody comes together and figures it out. That's how you figure out payment or whatever. Because to I think probably collectively here, nobody's going to want to make millions off of it. But you do have to, you know, be reimbursed for your time or whatever.
Energy.
Yes, yeah. And then
Have fun.
putting in perspective, well, kind of a tangent to that, because I wrote some stuff down of like things that, and not to bash any convention, I've been to a lot of conventions, so there's pros and cons of all of them. But the price range, in my opinion, should come down. There, people can't afford to go to conventions when it's that expensive. And then I also have the view of, sorry, I'm just like squirrel. I'm going. Um, but being a vendor as well. So I've seen the side of being just a convention goer, and then we were vendors at the last two Epic conventions. And so I see pros and cons of each side. So there's little things, like to me, it's all in the details, and there's little bitty things that you can change that make somebody's experience fantastic. Like for example, like the vendors, I would give them a VIP pass. If they have an op, go get in the front of the line. You're out there working, you need to be able to push through. You know, little bitty things like that I think would be helpful and are more fan directed than making money. And then I think you got to cap your talent. You can bring in 56 talent if it, you know, whatever, but budget is going to be huge, you know, so you don't want to exceed that. I mean, there's just a whole lot of little things that could be changed to make it widely successful. I mean, we all saw it, but it was all very successful until it wasn't. So budget is huge, huge, huge. And you just bring in the talent within your means. You pay people within your means. You decide, and I think you base the what you're paying people, if that's the route that this went, you base that off of um their time contributed, you know. And then your volunteers, you don't, for me, I would never make a volunteer pay. If you're coming to work, you don't pay for admission. That's your payment. You're getting in for free. You're getting a few lots, you're getting a t-shirt, you're getting free lunches, you know, whatever that would consist of. You show appreciation that way. So I think there's a lot of little things that can be tweaked to make it very, very enjoyable for people. But I think your first step is going to be getting your core group, and then if you start it up, where does the money initially come from? That's a huge thing. I don't know if you could look at getting somebody who would want to invest a lump sum on an agreement that you pay them back like a loan, but a person who's willing to invest back. There's a lot of people that are willing probably to invest in Covington and the TVD fandom itself. So I don't know, just a few thoughts. I was like furiously typing on my phone. What else can what, you know? So I think there's a lot of room for discussion on a lot of different things. But I think the first step would be figuring out who's in that group and how is it going to run. And then you go from there.
Yes, thank you so much. Bree, is your hand up for Marisol?
Yeah, it was well, no, it was for me.
Okay, go ahead.
It's actually so funny because a lot of the stuff that she hit on is stuff that I had in our notes to like talk about also, because we had also talked about after seeing, you know, some of the things that happened before, we had talked about that we thought it was crazy that volunteers were paying to get in, because like they're coming and they're dedicating their time. Some are traveling, a lot are traveling from different states. And I think that's just absolutely crazy that they're like having to pay all that money to come and, you know, help, but they're also paying to get in. Like that just doesn't make any sense to any of us. So I'm glad that that's something that you brought up that we could discuss, because we did already talk about that, and that's definitely like not anything that we're interested in. And then we had also talked about the prices for the convention, and they were ridiculously high. I didn't realize, because that was the only, I've never been to their convention, but that was the only one that I had looked at like price wise considering going. And I just thought that was like normal pricing until I was comparing, and I was like, you know, holy crap. And then the other thing that I had written down was that we haven't, I don't think that me and you, Vanessa, have discussed talent, like how many people we plan to have there, but I think that we are all relatively on the same page about um, not having like tons, and like where it's almost impossible to get everything that you want out of the day without feeling rushed and feeling like you're just not getting like a good experience because you're just go, 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 go. So that's what I have right now.
Definitely. Thank you so much. And then I see that Marisol is on yours. She has her hands up, like literally. Um, can you unmute her, Bree?
I can't see her. I don't know if she's, I don't know.
I can see you, but I can't hear you.
That's
Yeah.
is that the purple?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Are you able to put it in the um, chat? Can anybody else hear her?
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Yes.
there we go.
I'm so sorry. I've been having like the worst time trying to get on. But hi, guys. So, for those who don't know me, my name is Marisol Morales. I've been going to conventions for like 30 plus years, not only as a volunteer, as a vendor, but also a coordinator, the liaison, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Um, I've been slowing down because, you know, COVID kind of screwed everything up. And so I started going to like smaller conventions because I used to go to New York Comic Con and San Diego and all this stuff. But I noticed that I like the smaller ones, especially for my age. I think smaller ones are better. Um, when I went to Epic, I thought I was like, you know, this is a great idea. These girls were smart to do this, but we all know what the intentions were, unfortunately. Um, but I can tell you the whole 65 guests, when you have 20 something years, maybe if you have that amount of money. But to me, for a startup company, I think between 15, maybe 20 would be decent. But for a startup company that people don't know who you are, and from all the groups that I'm in and what I'm listening to, um, it's going to take a while for people to go ahead and trust any other company right about now after this experience. Um, so I think that starting small and working our way up is would be key. That way, people can start seeing that you are somebody you can be trusted, and everything is transparent. Like, hey, everything's been paid. You're not going to go through this what other people went through, and I guess we'll have those people that did not hear what's been going on. I don't know how they didn't, but there's some people out there that go to cons that never been to like an epic or a creation event. So I think that when you pick your group, your core group, um, base it on the experience and what they can actually bring to the table, because I've noticed that a lot of people who have done volunteer and all that stuff, they did it because they just want the talent. And in the beginning, they're all going home. Yes, yes, you can count on me, this and that. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, people were slacking, they were disappearing, people had to be called on their phone, like, where are they, where were they were talking to the talent, hanging, taking pictures and stuff like that. There's always a time and place for everything, but to run this business, it has to run smoothly, and it's with people that you can trust and who are serious about making this a successful company. And the whole thing where I don't know if you guys know, but I believe there was a law passed saying that unless the business is a nonprofit, volunteers have to be paid. So I don't know if you guys heard that, but if it's not a nonprofit, they're the volunteers have to get paid. Well, you have to have that in writing, which meaning, hey, um, your salary is basically going to be, whether if it's 2 or 3 photos a day, or, whatever the case is, have that in writing so they know that, yes, I am getting paid. I'm getting paid by this, so that way it covers you. And the volunteers don't have to feel like they're being taken advantage of as well. Um, oh my God, I had so much in my head. And the young lady here, the one with the orange shirt. I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Erin.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You were hitting on a lot of point, and so was Bree. So, from my experience, I think that there's a time and place for everything, and I think that you should think a little outside the box. So, for instance, let's say you have your volunteers, you have your talent and stuff like that. What else can we do to make it more personable, like different, whether if it's don't have that many talent, but have different I like things to do. So for instance, okay, after this and that, we'll have a karaoke, or we'll have like a bonfire, or we'll have, depending on where you're doing it, it's more personable, where people are saying, wow, I actually sat there and had a good time with the talent, and I wasn't rushed, and I wasn't thrown to take a quick picture. Because let me tell you, creation's great, but you got 2 seconds to say hi and get the hell out of there before they put somebody else in your place. The only person that took the time to stop and actually talk to you was Ian Somerhalder. He makes sure that each and every guest got their money's worth. And that's why so many people love him, because of that. Everybody else was like, damn, I didn't even get a chance to say anything. I was starstruck. And then you see them crying and they leaving because they're like, I didn't get a chance to say things, a whole bunch of stuff. So it's like, if we could be different in certain areas where people would feel more personal, I think that that will be a big plus for you guys. Um, and I don't know what else.
Thank you so much, Marisol. Samantha, I know you have your hand raised, but Jennifer did say that she has to go. Is that okay if she speaks first?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Go ahead, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm sorry. I have to go pick up my son, so I was like I have to scoot soon. So, um, can everyone hear me? I just want to make sure that. Okay, perfect. Hi, I'm Jen. I live in New Hampshire, so I'm on the complete other side of the country than you, Vanessa. And I've only been to two conventions so far. I've only been to two epic ones, which I went in December, and then when I went in April, I noticed that there was about half as many people there as there were in December. And I was like, that's interesting. What's happened? So I kind of felt like the vibes like there. And so I kind of got like an idea of the things that like were run poorly and were smooth. There were definitely things in April that like when we were expecting a super long line for registration, like in December, and then we got there and we didn't have to wait in line. So there were definitely some improvements in April from December, but then there was not nearly as many people. So, yeah, pros and cons. A little bit about me. Am, I work at a hospital during the day, really boring stuff. I work with chemotherapy meds. Has nothing to do with this, but on the side, I'm a professional photographer. So I am more than happy to take that piece. The thing with Epic is they already had like a clique of people in Covington that did their photography, and they didn't want to hear from me at all whatsoever, even though I offered to do it for free. So I am happy to do that for free. Um, yay! Yeah. So, just wanted to let you know that I also, because I'm a photographer, I do coordinate weddings a lot. So I'm really good at like coordinating people and hustling people and planning things. I have two kids and a family, and I plan all of our vacations. So I'm good with planning stuff. I do have my own side business, but I don't know. It's just me, so I don't really know a lot of the like business stuff because I don't really have to get into the nitty-gritty of employees and all that stuff. So I don't know a ton of that. I do know like the little things I have to do and with taxes and everything, but um I think my benefit would be mainly my photography, but also, any of the planning of events and stuff like that. I'm more than happy to help. If you want to help set up some sort of like photo booth or photo shoots or anything like that, I'm happy to do that too. So, just want to kind of introduce myself and let you know what I can bring to the table. So,
Thank you so much, Jen. Yeah, you mentioned photo booth, and who doesn't love taking selfies with their friends
yeah,
outside? Yeah, so great idea.
exactly.
Thank you.
All
Uh,
right, thanks.
Thank you. Oh, and then before you leave, anybody that registered will get an email with the link to the YouTube and the application for the team, as well as if you have a vendor or know a vendor or are a vendor, that application as well. So just wanted to let you know.
Everybody share.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Go ahead, Samantha. And then Dylan after.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Samantha, or Sammy. That's usually what I go by. I live in Pittsburgh, so again, opposite side of the country. I have been to two different cons. Epic and then Steel City. I've been to Steel City a couple of times. They both were run completely different. I can say that one of my biggest things that I would like to see addressed is ADA. And I don't know if that has been discussed on here, but when my husband has a lot of like he's got a lot of spinal cord issues. And so when we went to June wedding, um, I honestly will say that the process that we had to go through to get the ADA, I thought was great. You know, we had to show his like handicap placard to get the handicap parking. We took a picture of it, we sent it to them. Um, the process where we had our little bracelet that showed that we were ADA, we could go into the buildings. They had enough seats in the building for us to be able to sit down. If there weren't enough seats, they brought more out. That was great for that part. Steel City, I will say, was the complete opposite. They do not have separate lines for ADA people. They do not let you go ahead of anyone. You're in the same line as everybody else. They don't even bring chairs for you to sit down. So for me, I'm kind of like, what's the point of having an ADA if you're standing in the same line as everyone else? Because it's really hard when you have someone like my husband who can't stand for long periods of time, can't sit for long periods of time, has to kind of move up and down, or for people that are in scooters to move, through those lines. I've watched it happen and it was quite difficult at those conventions. Um, so that would be a big piece. I know the other part of the ADA was having accessible bathrooms, accessible access to food, things like that. So that was a big issue that I definitely think we need to make sure that we have addressed now. And I know that like we had tickets obviously for the upcoming convention, and they did change their policy. And I was hearing a lot of stuff that the reason that they changed the policy was because they felt that there were people that had ADA that didn't physically need it. So they were basically, what people were saying was that they were taking a look at you, and if they didn't think you needed ADA, they weren't giving you ADA. So I definitely think we would need a clear policy as to like how we handle ADA, because I think that's an important aspect for a lot of people. And I know that there were a lot of complaints after June wedding. And I know a lot of people that I'm friends with, like some people actually got kicked out and blacklisted because they commented about, or they emailed about the conditions of ADA. So yeah, that was my number one issue I wanted to talk about. The other thing is I do a lot of graphic design, stuff like that. So I work at a bank, so I do finances. I was actually a volunteer for a nonprofit here in Pittsburgh, called Jamie's Dream Team, that where I was doing their helping as a financial manager, where I was managing their, finances for a while. And I'm still actually working with the nonprofit. So I handle a lot of their fundraisers. I organize the fundraisers and manage them like from start to finish and do stuff like that. I used to manage a youth organization football league while it was up and running. It's actually no longer, after 40 years, we closed down, unfortunately. Another group came into the area and took over. But I handled all of the fundraising for that organization and all of our photography, all of our advertising, all of our graphics, everything. So, but yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
I would like to just say real quick before we move on to the next person. I'm so glad that you brought up the ADA because I completely forgot about mentioning that. But we have talked a lot about that also, because not only from seeing all the complaints from others about how they didn't have that, but like I also have two aunts that have been in a wheelchair their whole entire life. So I've always had to make sure that everything that we do can accommodate them, and that includes bathrooms. Bathrooms are so important for that. But I also like have my own issues where like I can't be in the heat or stand for too long because my blood pressure drops, and it's just a whole issue. And like so you can't look at somebody and know those things. So obviously we're not gonna be like that. I just want y'all to know that we are also taking like ADA things like very seriously, and it's not just going to be something that we kind of just like skimp over.
Thank you so much. Dylan?
Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. I'm Dylan, from North Carolina. I've been to 3 epic events. My first time volunteering was in Savannah, which was their last one. Been to Creation. I'm not gonna be. Oh, hey Bree, very good. And see, I'm in Charlotte, so maybe we're close. um, I'll be quick because there's only a couple things, and I'm sure there's already been a lot of what I'm going to say that's been mentioned, but I just wanted to reiterate the big thing is the bathrooms situation. Like wherever this convention is held, that was huge. I missed a photo and auto opportunity waiting in line for the bathroom at my first Epic event, and that was a whole show. I'm not going to cuss on here, but so definitely making sure that we have access to enough facilities for people is huge. Another thing that I wanted to mention is events. I really liked that Creation included specific events within your ticket, depending on the level that you got. I was very surprised that Epic didn't do the same, and there was a number of events that I had to, pay extra for in addition to my weekend pass. I think that model with Creation was more favorable because there is more things to do. I know someone had mentioned having things to do. So that was great. The other thing that I will say that I noticed in Savannah versus in Covington and this is just with Epic, In Covington, the meet and greets were before and after the event hours. In Savannah, the meet and greets were throughout the day. We had quite a few, and that was the one I volunteered. We had quite a few guests go to a meet and greet that was scheduled during their photo or auto op, and they were just kind of out of luck at that point. I know me, for example, I had a meet and greet scheduled, and I had a photo at the exact same time, and I was late to my meet and greet because they wouldn't push me through the line, and I was a volunteer and I was working the photo booths. So the other thing that I will say is having a clear policy about the missed ops, if there is any missed ops. Again, back in Savannah, I actually missed a Cat Graham and Ian op. Again, I'm a volunteer working the photo booth, so I can only imagine other people not being right there. If I didn't know, don't know how anybody else knew. Epic decided just to give me the Ian solo as my refund, I guess. So just making sure that we have a clear policy, or at least making sure that we make right in the long run, I think will be key. Um, like everybody else said, I'm really interested in becoming part of what we call this core team. I'm in education. I train adults. That's what I do. I train adults how to teach. So I'm really good at working with planning with adults, organizing volunteers, things like that. I won't say much else, but thank you guys for organizing this. Really appreciate people willing to step up because I was definitely completely devastated when this all happened. So that's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much, Dylan. And I would definitely want to be in touch. Stephanie, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay. Hey, I'm Stephanie. Everyone just calls me Steph. I live in Alabama. You can probably tell. But I've volunteered, I think, 6 cons now. And I just wanted to give like a couple of like just thoughts that I was um thinking about. Earlier we were talking about like volunteers and somebody mentioned like them not showing up to their post or whatever, and I just want to say that like the last few conventions that I've did, that was like a really big issue that we had, because people were signing up to volunteer because they were like, oh, we're gonna help, and they get there and they have all these photo ops and they just didn't have the time. And I realized working with these people that they were more of an attendee than a volunteer. And so I think one thing about Epic is when I first started volunteering for them, they were very, very picky on their volunteers, and then they just kind of slacked up. And I think it's very important to like you want everyone to like collaborate and stuff, but when you're picking people that's gonna be around like talent and stuff, it's very important to just, I hate to say, but kind of be a little bit picky about who's going to volunteer. You want people that have had experience, or just maybe have like, we don't really go through any kind of training before the cons. Like maybe have some kind of training that the people can come to, like if they're new, to better understand exactly what they're doing at these conventions, because a lot of the times you didn't know what you were doing until you got there, or you found out the week of. So that's one thing, just because it makes everyone's life very, very difficult at the convention when not everyone is doing what they were supposed to be doing. And most people probably been to a convention or worked a convention, so you know that every single position is very important. I don't think one thing is more important than the other. Um, and especially in the photo booth. If that photo booth is not running, then the talent, they're not happy. And the last thing you want is talent to not be happy. So if people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, then it's just not running successfully. Um, Another thing I think people mention, like capping how many like maybe ops and talent can do. I think that's very important, because when you're overloading the talent, they're getting overwhelmed, they're getting frustrated, and that's the last thing we want. And also, those lines are not fun to stand in. I started conventions as an attendee and then started volunteering, and I know that they're not fun to stand in. and I wouldn't want to be sitting there for forever, um, when there's like so many people in line and it's almost impossible to get to everybody. So that's another thing. I I do want to say that like I can't really say much because I did, volunteers do sign an NDA. But I do want to throw out there that I volunteered with Epic at plenty of cons that I never personally had to pay admission. And I don't know of a volunteer that did. Not saying that there's not some that maybe did. So I don't know if that's another convention company that's being done. Um, we never had to pay admission. Now, granted, we did have to pay for extra stuff we wanted, like, photo ops and stuff. But we did not have to pay admission. And I've saw people saying that like in Facebook groups and stuff. And so I just wanted to be transparent with you guys. You know, I don't know if that's another convention company because I've only volunteered with Epic, but we did not have to pay admission, the volunteers, um, for like to get into the venue. Um, that we did get free admission. But I do agree with like, compensating the volunteers because I'm gonna be quite honest with you, and I'm not saying that Epic the girls weren't I don't know really what they were doing because I was busy volunteering, but the volunteers carry the conventions. Like they are so important. I can't stress to you how important that's which is why I was saying it's so important to have people that do their jobs because the volunteers literally make or break an attendee's time at the convention. And so yeah, that's one thing I was thinking about is like I never had to pay admission. I don't know if there was a volunteer that did that I didn't know about, but I know all of my volunteer friends have never had to pay admission. And maybe it was at like a different company. Um, and there was one more thought I had. I can't remember. Um, Also, the ADA thing. I know we've stressed how important it is, but it's just I've seen it not work, and then I've seen us like slowly get better at it. But the ADA thing is just so tricky because you can't look at someone and tell if they need ADA. Also, as a volunteer, I've literally heard people in line saying that they're going to get ADA at the next con because they just don't want to stand there. And I just think it's unfair to the people that actually physically can't, like that have issues. So it's very, I don't personally don't know any advice on how to deal with ADA because like I don't know how to make sure you get it to the people that need it. Because if it was just for the people that didn't want to stand there, no, everybody would want ADA because no one wants to stand in line. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really have, I'm not very much help on that because I don't know how you would even, I don't even know how to make it fair to everybody. Um, but yeah, I think that's I think that's it. 'Cause I can't remember anything else.
Okay, thank you so much, Stephanie. Yeah, we someone had brought up about having those with ADA or that need ADA have a different color wristband, and then we have volunteers with matching color shirts so that the way they can find each other easier. I really liked that idea. Go ahead, Bree, and then it would be Marcel. Marcel.
I was just writing some stuff down while she was saying it because I was, my brain's going. I'm definitely 100% a schedule girly. So, as far as like I saw Vanessa put in there that, we're going to train the volunteers, obviously. But I also know, just from the short time that you and I have known each other, that we both, like structure in things that we do. So I don't think that it's never going to be a last minute like this is where this volunteer is going, this is where this person's going. We're gonna 100% have a schedule for everyone, so everyone knows exactly what they're doing when they're doing it. Um, I would go crazy if we didn't have a schedule, and I would be super stressed the whole time because I wouldn't know what was going on. So y'all wouldn't know what was going on. It would just be a whole thing. And then the one other thing I was going to say is that we have definitely talked about having still having good opportunities for people to have photo ops and autographs with people, but we definitely want to give them, a couple minutes to say a couple of things. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're still paying money to go see those people, and it's not fair for you to just get 2 seconds and then go. I mean, because at that point, what's the point, So.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Marcel.
Just to like touch up on certain things. I am ADA, so I know that sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. When we do our shows, we do like baseball shows and stuff like that. Um, the way we used to do it was we had, and I know again with Epic they couldn't do that because they just had too many people and there was not enough space. But we had a line for ADA, a line for VIP, and then the general admission. And what we did was we would do, you know, 2 or 3 VIPs, 2 ADA, and then we would do 2 regular. And that's how we rotated to move all 3 lines. Because at the end of the day, if somebody's really ADA, they can't stand like I can, as long as I'm moving, I'm good. But if I'm standing in one place and I turn my neck a certain way, I can collapse. So that's why I try to go when I know it's time to take that photo. I'm like the first one there. They know me by now because they know that I'm ADA. I do what I got to do, and then I go to my photo booth. Not my photo booth. I'm sorry, my vendor table. But the ADA, I know it's against the law to ask, but maybe there's a way where we're saying we're not asking what your condition is or anything like that. We just need to see your placard registration. That is it. That placard registration needs to have their name. Okay, matches the license, then you get a wristband. Because what happens is that I've seen people take their grandparents' ADA placard and they bring it saying that they're, and it's messed up. But I think that if there's 3 different lines where ADA is there, VIP, and that VIP gets 3 at a time because you know they pay the money to, and then ADA's 2, and then 2 for regular. They see that the line is moving, and you don't have all those people getting upset because they're standing there and they know that the person that just went on ADA was over there hop, skipping, and jumping and having a good time, which they really didn't need ADA. So I think that will help that situation. When the young lady touched about the bathroom, oh my God. I was heated when I was in December, I was in April, I was in Savannah. And let me tell you, one stall, one little truck that had 3 stalls wasn't cutting it. I mean, that was so, I mean, I don't know if you girls ever came across this, but there's some nasty people out there. And I don't know how you're going to miss the toilet right there. And there was poop I mean, it was just disgusting. So that's another thing, making sure that there is restrooms and the what the young lady Stephanie said about volunteers paying, the only volunteers that would pay is if they were bringing somebody else and they already had met their max as far as like vendors go. They were giving 4 badges, and if they brought somebody else, then they had to pay an extra badge for that person. Same thing with the photo. They got in the photo, but you only can have a certain amount. So if they needed another ticket, they would have to pay. I don't, out of all the vendors that volunteers that I know, none of them ever told me they had to pay for admission. They had to pay for other stuff, but not for admission. Um, the volunteers, what I used to do for our events was we rotated. So because everybody wants to be either, you know, in front where the line for photos are. They don't want to be at the end of the line or stuff like that. So what we did was that we had, you know, whether if it was an hour and a half, we had our crew, our volunteers there. Then we rotated them, and the other ones went to the back. As long as they know what they're doing, that's how they got rotated, which gave everybody an opportunity to have an experience doing that type of job. I've done last year. I volunteered, and I was a handler for this company, and they didn't have enough handlers, so they just started getting, you know, the volunteers. And let me tell you something. One of them was falling asleep next to the talent. Um, the the whole dress thing, yes, with creation, people dress up. With Epic, it was a hit or miss. I think that if you're unified, like you mentioned about shirt colors, black for handlers, different colors for for the other categories helps because you know who's who and who to approach. If you go and say, "Hey, I need you to go and find um, a volunteer," they'll know which shirt color that's a volunteer. Let me go and ask them and stuff like that. As far as for the core groups, they all wore yellow. So when you saw yellow, that was part of the staff. That was somebody higher than the regular volunteers and stuff like that. That kind of helped because trying to stand there goes, I don't know who it is, who's what, this and that. It's just wastes his time. If you want everything to flow nicely, I think that's something just to take in consideration. Um, and when I did the liaison where I was with talent, I made sure that their room where they were meeting up just to lounge was taken care of. I did my research to find out what snacks they liked, or the drinks and stuff like that, and I made sure that everybody. They used to call me Sergeant Marisol because I made sure that that person was ready and at their booth or at their wherever they needed to be. So I think having a schedule is great, and how we have to abide by that schedule, that if it's time and you see that the talent likes to talk with their guests and you don't want to rush them because some of them do get testy, start like 10-15 minutes to go on that line real quick and say, hey guys, you're the last one. Anybody else, tell them that they can come back online once we come back from break, so that way no one else gets on that line and it'll flow faster. So that's just, things come as people are talking, it starts to pop. So, oh, and by the way, I'm from Orlando, Florida, as you can see.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll let Mackenzie talk, and then Bree wants to talk, and then I'll close us out.
Marisol, we're close. I'm like an hour away from Orlando. But anyways, so I want to just talk on behalf of the talent. I did an interview with Kayla Yule and they put me in the green room. That's what they call like the green room. I don't know if you guys know. I'm sure some of y'all do, but it's basically like the behind the scenes of the convention or like a concert or whatever. It's where they sit down, they chill, they can have a cup of water or a snack or like go on their phone or whatever it is. And they put me in like the entryway of the green room, and Paul Wesley was in there watching me do my interview, opening a gift that somebody had got for him, and you could just tell that he was over it. He wanted to go home. This was on Saturday, so he still had a whole other day of doing this. And you could just tell that he was not feeling it anymore. And I feel like for actors who, him, he hasn't done a single interview for any like company. And so you could just tell he is much more not necessarily introverted because we all know how Paul Wesley is, but he definitely is like, I feel like after a good hour or so, he's like, okay, I need a break. And I feel like for cast members like that, they should have a say. Like, okay, I'm ready to have my own break now. I don't think it should go based on our schedules, but I think they should be able to create their own schedule. And I feel like that'll give them a lot more leeway of being like, oh, this is not just for the fans, but it's also for me to have a good time. And I don't know, I just feel like that'll make them have a little bit more of control and feel as though like they're not the ones being controlled.
Yeah, that's a great point. In the form that we created, we did add like, what are your days of preference? Like you choose, do you want to do the morning? Do you want to do the evening? Do you want to do Saturday? So yes, that's been thought of. Thank you. Go ahead, Ree.
It's so funny that you bring that up because I was just talking to my sister. We went back in April. We didn't go to the con. We just were in Covington, and we were outside of I don't remember what place it was, but he happened to be coming out of a meet and greet, and there was a whole group of people there, and we were like, why is everybody standing here? And they were like, oh wait, he's coming. And then one of the volunteers went in, and you could hear him go, will you please just let me get out? Like he wanted to get to his car, and everybody was like crowding around, and it was just, anyway, I thought that was funny. The only thing that I was going to say was we were talking about, Mackenzie brought up about the name. We were talking, me and Vanessa and Morgan were talking. We came up with a couple of ideas. I think what we decided, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we were going to get together like an official like team and kind of do like a team vote. That's all.
We definitely don't want to follow the footsteps of any other company that might leave a bad taste in the fan's mouth. We want to separate and stand out because we're doing more than just a convention. I feel like I definitely want it to be an experience for both the talent and the fans. I do have a friend that got invited to Taylor Swift's house, and she kicks herself that she said no to Taylor's cookie because it wasn't vegan. So just like little things of like that, of like, oh, well, I got to experience this, so maybe it could be something in the tiers of like, oh, paint with Michael or whatever, just like a smaller group intimate activity than having the talent be like, okay, I have to perform again, because that itself is very draining. But I do want to be respectful of everyone's time. It was only supposed to be an hour, but I am very, very thankful for everyone that showed up and the conversations that were happening in the chat and on screen. I am very appreciative to each and every one of you. If you had registered on the Zoom, and even if you weren't here, you're going to get an email that will have the link for the application as well as the link for the vendor and the YouTube video to replay and share. We would love to have a lot of people to choose from in different locations because we were also talking about starting the convention series in Covington, but also taking it to other states, possibly even states that haven't had conventions. So those people who are TVD fans can attend without the high cost of travel. So that's my overthinking goal.
I would also like to say that we are all very responsive as well. So if you come up with more things that you want to talk about or questions, then do not be afraid to reach out to any of us because we will discuss it together and get back to you like pretty much immediately within the day.
Thank you so much and look forward to that email.